Okay. Things are going to be better this time around. So, we're talking about the EdPuzzle YouTries. I'm going to go through each problem. And if you have a question, you can go ahead and type it in the chat, either publicly or you can send me a private message. I'll read it and I'll answer your question, hopefully. Okay. Oh, thank you, Hannah, for answering that question. Okay, so there were two methods that the video really emphasized. And so those are the methods that I kind of want to talk about here. So they said that if there's nothing for you to distribute, all you have to do is just drop the parentheses. So that's what I'm going to do. X plus 3 plus 2x minus 1. So there are two different methods. One method was to circle the like terms. So I'm going to circle my like terms. I'm going to circle the terms with the x's in them because I can add those together. And then I'm going to circle the constants. And notice that for -1, I circled both the minus and the 1. Because when you're subtracting, it's the same thing as adding its opposite. So it's like adding -1. So when I add them together, for the x's, I get x plus 2x, that's going to be 3x. And then I have 3 plus -1, or you could say 3 minus 1. They're really the same thing. You get 2. Do I have any like terms? No, only one of each color. Do I have any parentheses? Nope. So that's my final answer. Another way they told you was to stack it up. So making sure that my like terms line up. So I'm going to write the first group, and then I'm going to write the second group. So that's 2x. I'm making sure that my x's are lined up. And I'm making sure that my constants are lined up. Okay. So now I can just add them together vertically. X plus 2x. It's going to give me 3. 3 minus 1. That's going to be 2. Okay. So far, so good. Oops. Okay, I'm going to clear this. We'll talk about number 2. The quantity -8z plus 4 plus the quantity 8z minus 7. Okay. So same thing here. No numbers outside the parentheses, so I don't need to distribute. I can just drop the parentheses. This is the same thing as -8z plus 4 plus 8z minus 7. Okay, method 1. Okay. I'm going to group together my like terms, negative 8z plus 8z. And then I'm going to group together my constants. Use green this time. Plus 4 and minus 7. Okay, so remember, when you're moving around numbers that you're subtracting, you have to move that minus with them as well. So if you were going to say 2 minus 3, that is the same thing as minus 3 plus 2, or negative 3 plus 2. It's the same as long as you move around that subtraction sign too, as long as you move that negative sign as well. Okay, so going back to our problem, we have here negative 8z and 8z. It's just like 1 and negative 1, 2 and negative 2, 3 and negative 3. Those are opposites. So when you add opposites together, you get 0. Then we have 4 minus 7. We're taking away more than we have, so it's going to be a negative number, negative 3. Do I have parentheses? Yes. Do I have like terms? Yes. I have 2 constants here. So I'm going to rewrite that. 0 plus negative 3, negative 3. Okay, method 2. Stack them up. Make sure that the similar terms, like terms, are stacked on top of each other. That was my first group. This is my second group. We're adding them together. Opposites, 0. Positive 4 and negative 7, that's going to get us a negative 3. 0 minus 3, negative 3. Okay. Problem number 3. Now we're getting into distributive. So in the video, they told you, look first in the groups to see if there's anything that you can simplify. Can you simplify 4 minus n? No, because they're different. One's a constant, one's a variable. Can you simplify negative 5n plus 3? No, it's good as it is, because once again, 3 is a constant, negative 5n has a variable in it. So then we look on the outside here. We've got something that we need to distribute. We want 2 of whatever's inside this group. So we have to distribute it. We have to distribute the 2 to both things inside the group. We want 2 of each. So let's rewrite this. 4 minus n. There's nothing I need to do to that, so that's why I can drop the parentheses. Then, as I said, we want 2 of everything that's inside here. So we want 2 of these, and we want 2 of these. How am I going to multiply that? We didn't do anything to the 4 minus n. Oops. If anything happens, I am recording this. So if you can't see it now, you will be able to see it when I post up the video onto YouTube. You will also be able to see the slides when I post them up, when I post up my YouTube video. Okay, so we have 2 times negative 5n. That gets us negative 10n plus 2 times 3, 6. Okay, method 1. Oops. Method 1. I'm gonna rewrite everything. Okay, circling my like terms. Got constants here. And I've got variables. Whenever you see a minus, that's just like adding a negative. So you have to include that negative in there. 4 plus 6, adding like terms. 4 plus 6, that's 10. Then I have 1 negative n, and I have 10 negative n's. So how many negative n's do I have altogether? I add 1, and I have 10. Altogether is 11. So that's why the final answer is 10 minus 11n. You could have stacked this up. Okay, let's stack this up after distribution. So it'd be 4 minus n, and then, 6 and negative 10n. That's what you could do. Or you could say, hey, I'm gonna stack up 4 minus n, and I know that this here tells me I want 2 of everything that's inside the group. And I need to make sure that my constants and my variables are lined up together. You have to line up the like terms. Okay. So negative 5n plus 3, I'm going to line up the constants. So 3 goes here. Minus 5n goes there, because they're the same thing. Okay, I want 2 of them. Add them all together. 4 plus 3 is 7. 7 plus 3, 10. How many minus n's do I have here? I have 1, 5, and 5. That's 6, 11, minus 11n. If you had gotten negative 11n plus 10, that is also a valid answer. That is also the correct answer. Any questions about that? Okay, moving on to number 4. So this one has fractions in it, but it's not really different. The only thing that's different is that it's a fraction instead. But now we have to distribute 2 times. got to distribute here. And we've got to distribute here. So how do I distribute? I want half of everything that's inside this group. I still want what's inside this group. I just want half of it. Okay. Then I want a quarter of everything that's inside this group. The reason why I put a plus sign here is because there's a plus sign right here. This just moves down with it. So W plus 12, and I want a fourth of everything that's inside there. Okay. Half a W is just half W. We don't need to know what that is. It's a variable. Minus half of 6. That's the same thing as saying 6 divided by 2. So that's going to be half W minus 3 plus quarter W plus a quarter of 12 is the same thing as 12 divided by 4. It's 3. Okay, using method 1. Sometimes I'm not gonna show method 2 for this one because I think it's just easier to do method 1 for this one. Okay, so we've got our like terms W's, and let's see, coefficients. Oh wait, no, these are constants, sorry. So I've circled my like terms. In the yellow, I've got the W's, and in the purple, I've got the constants. So now we gotta add them together. Half W plus quarter W. This is why the warm-up was how do you add fractions together for yesterday. So you gotta add up 1/2 and a fourth. Well, half is the same thing as 2/4. So half W is the same thing as 2/4 W. 2/4 plus 1/4, that gives me 3/4. 3/4 W. Minus 3 plus 3, opposites. So when you add them together, that's 0. Well, I got 3/4 W. Okay. Now, talking about YouTries 5 and 6. Number 5, we're gonna be subtracting linear expressions. So the quantity m minus 3 minus the quantity negative m plus 12. Okay, the video told you whenever there's a minus here, you have to distribute that to everything in here as well. Okay, so that means that we're going to be changing everything here to be its opposite, because subtraction is like adding its opposite. So m minus 3 plus, now I'm going to change everything in here in this group to be its opposite. So the opposite of negative m is going to be positive m. The opposite of 12, negative 12. Okay, same thing for method 2. For method 2, lining up my groups, I know this is subtraction. And using the idea that subtraction is just adding its opposite, already at this step, I'm just going to change it. Everything to its opposite. M minus 12. We've got here, adding these together, because we changed everything to its opposite. Adding these together, I get 2m. And then how many things am I subtracting? 15 in total. Same thing here. Method 1. Circling my like terms. Got 2m minus 15. Do I have any parentheses? No. No like terms? They're different colors, 2 different colors. So no like terms either. That's number 5. Number 6. Is combining everything that we've learned so far for all the YouTries. So -2 times the quantity C plus 2.5, 2.5, minus 5 times the quantity 1.2 C plus 4. First thing you do, distribute. So that's going to get me C plus 2.5. I want everything in that group. And I want 2 negatives of them. And then on the right, remember, -5 is the same thing as adding its opposite. And since we're going to treat -5 like it's the opposite, I'm going to put a plus sign here because it's the same thing as plus -5. So I want 1.2 C and I want 4. I just want 5 negatives of them. Which one did I use? This one? So now that I've distributed, I can multiply these out. -2C, that's just -2C. Plus 2.5. 2 of 2, that's going to be 4. 2 of a half, that's going to be 1. So 4 plus 1, that's 5. And remember this negative here, this is going to be -5. Okay. Okay, this is going to be -6C plus -20. So let me tell you how I did -5 times 1.2 in my head. So the way I did that is I know that I want 1.2, right? 1.2, if I change that to a percent, 1 is 100. 1.2 is going to give me 120. So I want 120% of 5. Well, 100% is 5. 20%. 20% is the same thing as a fifth. A fifth of 5 is that 5 divided by 5. A fifth of 5 is going to be 1. So adding those together, 120% of 5 is 6. Okay, so now we're going to circle our like terms. Like terms, here and here, C's and C's. Then we have like terms, constants and constants. Okay, so negative 2c plus negative 6c, negative 2 plus negative 6. Since they have the same variables, we're adding the coefficients together. The coefficients, negative 2 and negative 6, we get negative 8c plus negative 5 plus negative 20. How many negatives do I have in total? I have 25 negatives. So to rewrite this so that there are no parentheses, adding its opposite is the same thing as subtraction. So negative 8c minus 25. And here concludes the EdPuzzle YouTries. I'm gonna pause this for a second. So when you do your Khan Academy assignments, please make sure that you are signed into your school account. Because if you are not signed into your school account, you will lose all the progress and all the work that you have done. And I do not want that. That is why I am reminding you to sign in. So if you go here and you click on one of the assignments, on one of the Khan Academy, you see here that it will not automatically log you in. So you have to make sure that you've logged in. Please, 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 please go back. Please go back and sign in. Okay? Otherwise, all the work that you've done is lost, and I don't want that. So continuing from when we come back from break, I wouldn't worry about it too much for these past 2 weeks. I understand that that was an issue, and I will look at your responses to the question I posed for the assignment. However, in the future, when we do Khan Academy assignments, you need to have signed in. Otherwise, it will lose your work. Okay. So for some of you, if you've already logged into Khan Academy before, it might remember that you've logged in, but please just double check. Okay. So you could go in using these buttons here, or you can log in. Make sure you continue with Google. Make sure you are signed into your school account. Okay, and so now it should say your name on the top. That's how you know that you've logged in. And that's how you know if you clicked on the link from Google Classroom. If you are already signed into Khan Academy, you should be able to go to your learner home, okay, and you'll get to this page. If it doesn't look like this, then you need to click on assignments on the left side of the tab. Period 1, Math 7, well, I'm in period 1 for my assignment, but you're gonna have whatever period that you're in. If it doesn't match, because I found some people whose periods don't match what period they're in, please tell me so I can make a note. Otherwise, I might accidentally skip over you. So I'm gonna start. And it looks a little bit different depending on what link you go through. So this is gonna be a pop-up. Okay. So adding fractions with unlike denominators. We gotta change it so that they are like denominators. If you don't have pencil or paper near you, that's fine, because Khan Academy, if you see in this bottom left corner over here, it's a marker. Oh man, where is it? It's a marker right here. So now you can write all over it. This is if you're on the laptop. I'm not sure if mobile has the same features, but at least for the laptop, you can write all over it. Okay, so 4/5 plus 2/10. We gotta make them the same denominator because we cannot add denominators. Okay, we cannot add numerators that don't have the same denominators. So I'm gonna multiply by 2/2, because I know 2 times 5 is 10. Ooh, writing with this is so difficult. Awesome, so it does for mobile. Okay. Thank you for letting me know. Okay, so we've got 8/10 plus 2/10. That's gonna give me 10/10. Okay. So if I put in 10/10, 10/10, it's gonna be correct. You could also put in 1. And that'll also be correct. Okay. So you have to make sure that you click out of this marker thing, otherwise you can't click anything on the page. So if you want to see a step-by-step solution for how they did it, this is also what you would have seen if you had clicked through the hints. Okay, so let's look at the next question. Okay, 3/5 plus 3/2. If we're stuck, you can watch a video or use a hint. If you click on this, at least on the laptop, it opens up to a new tab. Okay. Because if you press the backspace button, or if you click back on this page, it might bring you to somewhere weird. Do not press the back button when you're on Khan Academy, or at least not on this page. Okay. If you're still stuck after watching the video, because sometimes you need a lot of examples in order to get it better, they're gonna give you hints. Okay. And it looks just like that step-by-step solution we saw for that last problem. So we've got 3/5, we've got 3/2 here, and they've drawn it out for us. And honestly, the pictures look beautiful. I wish I could make graphics like those. Okay, so they've divided them up. The 3/5, everything in the fifths, they split it up into 2. So now we have tenths here. Same thing here. They split all the halves into 5 equal parts. So now we've got tenths here as well. Okay. So we've got 6 tenths and 15 tenths. 6 plus 15, that's 21 tenths. So if you enter this in, that's your final answer. Okay. They give you the final answer so that you don't have to get stuck on the same thing for more than 10 minutes. Okay, that's not what I want you to do. I do not want you to be stuck on the same thing for more than 10 minutes. If you need a hint, this is where you get it. Okay, so if you wrote 21 tenths, that would give you the correct answer. If you wanted to change this into a mixed number, this would be what? Okay, this would be 2 and 1/10. So in order to make it 2 and 1/10, you type the 2, press a space, and 1/10. And that should also get you the correct answer. So the reason why they mark it as gray is because, you know, you did correct your answer, but they want you to be able to get the answer on your own. That's why we do Khan Academy, is so that we practice, and that's why I give you different problems so that you can practice different problems each time and you can get better, because these are skills. So yes, I do want you to learn something. You do not have to try it more than once. However, this is practice, and through practice, you get better. So try to practice so that you can do this on your own. So looking at the next question. Okay. I know 3, 6, 6 and 12. 6 and 12, I need to get it to 12 and 12, 3, 6. Oh, you know what? 3, 6 is also 1/2. So 1/2, that's the same as 6/12. So I'm gonna write 6/12 plus 10/12. And if I wanna be fancy, oh, you know what? I could have just simplified the 10/12. Okay, that's 16/12. Okay, if I wanted to simplify that, that would be what? I can divide by 4. So that'd be 4, that'd be 3. 4/3, okay, I can do better than that. 1 and 1/3. Okay, 1 and 1/3. You don't have to exit out of this marker thing if you want to just type in the answer. But you will have to exit out if you want to watch a video or use a hint. Otherwise, it just, yeah, you get the point. Okay, so 1 and 1/3. Okay, so let's just breeze through these next questions. 7/4 plus 2/3. Okay, I need 12 on the bottom. 7/4, I multiply that by 3. Oh my goodness, 3 over 3. And then 2/3, I gotta multiply that by 4. Got 21 over 12. Wow, that's a big number. 8 over 12. Okay, that's 29. 29 over 12. Okay, 3/4. Ah! Ooh, I know. I don't want to do 40. I'm going to do 20. So 3/4 times 5 over 5 plus 5/10 times What is it? 20? 2 over 2. Okay. So how do you find that? 4. 4. 8. Well, that's, you got to be good at your times tables. Woohoo! If you did do 40, you would get the same answer. It's just when they throw like more complicated answers at you, when they throw more complicated numbers at you, finding the least common multiple would be the easiest. Because there's also, we don't have that much of a problem anymore about numbers being too big to fit in your computer. But if you try to put in a super big number into your calculator and you're using like one of the school calculators, it's gonna break your calculator. So that's why we like to find the least common multiple, because we don't really like breaking our calculators. Even for huge like supercomputers, in order to calculate huge numbers, because that's what some computers are doing right now, they have to use multiple supercomputers to calculate a single number, just because that number is so big. Okay, if I put in 25 over 20, I would probably accept it. Let's see. 5 over 4, that's 1 and 1/4. Okay, I'll put in 25 over 20. Let's just see. Ooh, if you did 40, that would be what? 50 over 40? 50 over 40. Yep, still got the right answer. Or see how we answered this question. I mean, if you're just curious, or you just like to see their, their beautiful models, because they have beautiful models. Yeah. So they turned into 20ths. Okay, next question. Oh, this is taking me longer than it did the other one. 1/4, 8/6. That's 12, right? Common denominator. 12. 1/4 times 3 over 3. 3 over 12. Okay. 8/6. That's 2 over 2. That's 16/12. And so the reason why I like writing everything in one line is so that then I would only be writing 3/12 and 16/12 once, right? But if this is more clear to you, so that you know what you need to substitute into here, by all means, please. I like seeing that. I like seeing how other people organize their work, because that's important. You need to know how to organize your work. Seeing how other people organize their work makes you reflect on how you organize your work. Just like how seeing other people's farms on Stardew, or seeing other people's islands on, oh my god, I keep forgetting the name. Animal Crossing. Yeah, it's just like how seeing their islands inspire you to make your own island. Does anyone here play Animal Crossing? I'm feeling no one does. I've asked that question multiple times in different periods. They don't play Animal Crossing. I don't know why. 30, got it. Oh, you guys play Animal Crossing? When you were, okay, well they got a new one out. There's a new one out now. Okay, so we've got what, 9/30ths? That's 10/30ths. That's 19/30ths. Whoa! And I am done with this assignment. Oops. Okay. Okay, so that's my score for this one. I hope you are safe wherever you are. I'm going to stop recording right now.